My story's a little bit different. I'm not a really ambitious guy. I didn't really want to run for state representative. I'm really more of a grassroots organizer, have been for years. So I actually lined up a couple people to run for state representative. In the last minute, when it came time to get into action, they weren't to be found. So I was prompted by some good friends that I should run, and I had no desire, and so I knew the answer to, even though they were God-fearing people, was to go to prayer and go to fasting. And that's has been a great formula for me. It's not a formula, but it's something that often God will respond to. And he did in a remarkable way. Going into this prayer and fasting, I had no desire. At the very end, I had a terrific desire to run for this position, and I did. And God provided all along the way. He provided a remarkable victory in the primary, closest race in the state, won by 15 votes. The Lord provided for that. The Lord provided an exceptional staff in my 6 years here. I want to thank Michaela and Ryan. They have been honest, loyal, and hardworking. They were a true blessing, always of good cheer. Adam DeAngeli and Evan Cruz started with me, and they will surely be a part of my life going forward. They are true friends. Adam's passion for life, his enthusiasm, his creativity, his intelligence, and his love for liberty could not be contained working in the state. He had to get on the outside, and he did. And he's already showing the tremendous impact he's going to have on Michigan politics and on educating people about what's going on in Lansing. Michigan's going to be better off that Adam DeAngeli is not working for me anymore. Evan has been a loyal, responsive, hardworking, honest, always pleasant, and ideal legislative director. Whoever trained him did an excellent job. I will miss the ability to call him anytime and get a response, often within 5 minutes. I have been spoiled, and my wife Karen will suffer the consequences of this spoiling treatment by my staff. Although Evan and I will be miles apart, we will be working the remainder of our lives on the same mission. I campaigned on 5 issues: decreasing the size of government, decreasing regulation, promoting free market economics, upholding the principles of subsidiarity, and advancing liberty. So you can see that these things don't mix with Lansing. Many of the people home just don't understand that. So though it may look like I've not got a whole lot done here in Lansing in my 6 years, I have had some major accomplishments. For starters, I've taken my old 1998 Camry given to me and managed to put an additional 100,000 miles on there, spending less than $2,000 in repair and maintenance. I love cheap transportation. I accomplished something few people match statistically. I have managed to get 50% of my bills that made it to the governor's desk vetoed. I don't know if Johnson's got a better record of vetoes than that, but 50%. But not only that, I kind of, in a quirky way, have given the governors a chance to be bipartisan because both sides of the aisle have vetoed my bills. So I think that's a pretty good accomplishment, and I was glad to see them brought together in that. But God provided. He provided through Sarah Anthony, who on one of those bills that was vetoed, tweaked that bill a little way and got the same objective accomplished. So thank you, Sarah. Seriously, I did have some bipartisan work across the aisle with John Hoadley, and we had the pleasure of organizing and promoting the House breakfast events. We were allowed to do the unthinkable, bring Republicans and Democrats together, and hear unique, individual, uplifting stories of their lives. Life stories from others that revealed truth, passion, musical talent, hardship, suffering, perseverance, love, and gave us an insight in what has shaped our fellow man with their unique gifts given to them from God. Thanks to Joe Bellino, Sherry Gay Denagno, Shane Hernandez, Aaron Miller, Brenda Carter, Christine Gregg, I think Jewel Jones, I forgot to put him on here, he was one of the ones too that gave their story. So I really encourage people in the future, if you get a chance, if the House breakfast is going next year, to give your story. It's a great way for people to have insight. Now, for my fellow reps that I want to thank here, First off, Chair Pam Hornberger, wherever she is, as the Education Chair, thanks for her help on the Work Keys bill. I worked on it for 6 years. We did not get it across the line, but I use it as a classic example to reveal that special interest groups control laws in Lansing. It'll get across the line, I'm sure, with the next administration. I should have been more observant of my friend Shane Hernandez. I admired that he played in the sandbox so well by being true to his convictions. He is a good friend and continues to ask me out on his luxurious fishing trips, knowing that I have no clout at all politically, and he doesn't even enjoy fishing. He's a good man and genuinely loves his neighbor because he knows his neighbor is not his enemy. I look forward to working with Shane on the mission. Across the aisle, who's no longer here, Sherry Gay Denagno. Bless her servant heart and her God-given vocal cords. We managed to eke out a friendship. We attended each other's churches. I wish I had done more of that with those across the aisle. Our view of the role of government, I imagine, are far apart, but I still love her. And then there's the anomaly of Steve Johnson. I think he was 25 years old when he started. I'm in my 60s, and I'm impressed. He was an outstanding oversight chair, the best chair I've had, which should have been no surprise. His work ethic is off the charts. His pursuit of excellence in all that he does is clear. We need this in Lansing. Steve is a true leader. His courage, wisdom, generosity, and other virtues in a 30-year-old body set him apart. His impact on the world is and will be far-reaching. We need many more Steve Johnsons in Lansing. And out of the many others who have helped me, especially to make government smaller, I think of Steve Cara and all the others, Michelle, so many of you have helped to try to curtail the growth of government. All we got to do is think back at that transit bill, which I don't know if it was 2018 or whatever, and the fight we had, and we were successfully stopped it. So thank you for all your help on that. Now for those on the outside, I actually am, like I say, a grassroots guy, and I look to the outside more than I do the inside. On the top of the list, Father Steve Madison at Church of the Resurrection right down the street here in Lansing, for being available for hearing confessions before the 8:15 Mass. For Principal Jacob Allstott at the same location, Church of the Resurrection, for the courage to take on the state government when they went too far. His love and application of classical education in the middle of Lansing. For Tom McMillan, who has encouraged me all the way, inspired me with tenacity on the State Board of Education. Tom is a true public servant. For economic professor, I will say Austrian economic professor, Harry Vereiser, who taught me the meaning of Austrian economics. And also David Bruhan. Thank you both for your selfish giving of your time to teach others about true economics. Seriously, if we wanted to bring unity between Democrats and Republicans, we would study Austrian economics together. I want to thank John Joslin, a friend of mine, a friend of Ron Paul's, and a fellow newsboy. I want to thank the Detroit News. Sounds kind of crazy, but if you look back on what happened to newsboys and what they've done after they quit being newsboys, you're going to see that there's a lot of people who became entrepreneurs. John Joslin's one of them. He's a great friend. And I want to thank Joe and Jean Langlois for their generosity, wisdom, faith, and friendship. Unbelievable friends. Joe could be making a lot more money, but he listened to me when I called him up and asked him about legislation. He gave me an honest opinion from a lawyer on the outside. Thank you, Joe. Scott and Sue Gentry, they've extended my life by knowing them. They're unbelievable people. Thanks to all the members of the Oakland Township Grassroots Group, the Oxford Grassroots Groups for your support. Then there's my family. On the top of my list, my father, George, and my mother, Maxine. George introduced me to politics, and for those who don't know, he was a very strong, loving man and a Democrat. I love him dearly. I want to thank my wife, Karen, who's put up with me for these 10 years of campaigning and continuous door knocking, which I have not stopped since I've been elected. She often feels shortchanged. She doesn't get to celebrate a lot of the things that most representatives' wives probably do, because I was focused on things not in Lansing, and that was, I think, hard on her. On top of that, I let the house go. I got a lot of repairs to work on when I get back. God has blessed us tremendously. 4 beautiful children, 10 beautiful grandchildren, and growing. I look forward to a journey with them. Finally, just a word I'm thinking about here. I don't think most citizens view politicians well. We are not a well-trusted group. If you really look at it and looked at polls, you'd see that. To help this, please don't do things that you said you weren't going to do when you campaigned. Do the things that you said you were when you campaigned. If you would not campaign on corporate welfare, increasing government programs, increasing spending, promoting undependable energy, don't vote for it. If you need help to stay on track, post your votes online. I've done this since I've been here. It's been a beautiful experience. It builds trust, even with the other people that don't necessarily agree with you. Then I want to say to my Christian friends in the room, this is just for us Christians. We know as Christians that there is an enemy. He's real and he's on this battlefield, but it's not our neighbor. As a Christian, we have no enemies, not one. That's what we have to remember, and that will help us. So for us Christians, we have to look at that. Lord, I'm eager to get ready for my next part of the journey. I don't know where he's got me going, but I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to speak.